Alright, so as just about everybody knows, the port of entry at Lukeville, which is how most people come to Puerto Peñasco, has been closed as a result of mass illegal alien entries and the resources of the Border Patrol being reallocated elsewhere. I went for a bike ride Monday to get an idea of how much that affects Rocky Point, and I really didn't see a big change in traffic. I did not, however, notice a lot of American license plates. Presumptively, they have fled and gone back to the U.S. My neighbors did, for sure. The chatter on the Facebook groups, which is pretty much an insane asylum, is that the effects are coming from the hospitality sector, excuse me, restaurants, condos, hotels, things like that. So, one of the things that I'm going to look at is Playa de Oro to see if the trailers have cleared out. Now, this is kind of a slower time anyway, so I don't know that it's going to be a huge indicator, but from here I'll go down to the Malecon, and honestly I don't know that that would be a huge indicator either, because it's, it's a slower time. Now there's a guy with a backpack walking through the park over there. Alright, so I don't know, I see a lot of trailers at Playa de Oro. They got a sign out that's renting hourly, daily, and weekly. Let's go see what's going on. Buenos días. Empty? Gracias. So, not as many as the last time I shot up through here, but I don't know. It appears to me that there's plenty. Great day, jeez. Just the perfect temperature. Split pants and sweatshirt. A lot of these people really have put some nice little rooms onto their trailers. Some of them are older, probably been here a long, long time. Maybe owned by the park, I don't know. These spots rent for maybe $6.50 a month. I think I saw on the website it's maybe $6.11 a month. You can see they've got electricity boxes, water, sewer. Taya's got nobody there. Quiet for sure. Quiet's good. Morning. Dog run. And this up here is storage in a permanent housing. I don't know if that's going to change. Alright, so let's head towards Malecon. I read where some of the establishments were talking about closing down. All but a couple days a week. Makes sense. You know, so here's my thought. Times change, you change with the times. This immigration thing is a problem in California, Texas, Arizona. It doesn't look to me like it's going to stop anytime near soon. Now, my thoughts are maybe it's time to close down permanently some redundant, non-essential entry points. And in reality, Lukeville may be one of those non-essential points. Now, those who own businesses here, who own property here, who come here frequently would argue with that. But from where I sit, that border entry services Mexico more than it does the United States. You're never going to see semi-trailers, commercial vehicles going up through Lukeville. You'll see them in Sonoyta, and they're heading east or west. So it's all tourism that's coming down through Lukeville. Tourism absolutely benefits Mexico and the Mexican citizens. This place would be a ghost town. Want to say yes? Anyway, there was an article in the AP about how Mexico finance minister said that they're going to stop deporting Mexicans, or illegal aliens, I should say. Apologies. Because they ran out of money. They can't afford to put them on planes and send them back to Africa, Asia, maybe even Central America. And if that's the case, is there any hope that Mexico is going to take any kind of responsibility up at the border to get these people and send them back to where they belong? Part of the AP story discussed how a migrant camp across from El Paso burnt down, killing, I think it was 47 people. It was bad, and it is part of the effects on Mexico choosing to take a more hands-off approach when dealing with this. I suspect it's going to be sort of a whack-a-mole game where maybe they'll get them, put them on buses, and move them someplace out of sight, out of mind of the border, because if the United States decides to start shutting down border crossings for an extended period of time, the economy of Mexico is going to take a huge hit, both in tax revenue and of course the locals who depend on Americans coming down here or other border towns and spending their dollars. Therefore, it seems to me that this is more a Mexico problem than it is a United States problem. Even though the immigrants are going up to the United States. But wait, there's more. They're coming through Mexico to get to the United States. That means Syrians and Sudan, people that are on the terrorism watch list, criminals, are coming into Mexico with no checks and balances. If you search, you're going to see that there is a video about a train, or several trains, that immigrants get on in the south and right up north. They're freight trains. The video was actually pretty scary because these people were getting on these trains with children, infants. And it talked about how, of course, some were dying. At one point, they stopped the trains. Now, that in fact, since these are freight trains, that affects the Mexican economy as well. There was a deal, some time back, not all that long ago, where Mexico agreed to start enforcing immigration standards more in part by telling the bus companies that they couldn't sell a ticket to anyone who didn't have documentation, or proper documentation, meaning a visa, FFM, something. I don't think that's being enforced either. What are you going to do with all these immigrants? Who are they going to arrest? Where are they going to take them? Sometimes there just isn't an answer. You can ponder it, debate it, complain, think about it, but there just isn't an answer. Maybe an answer would be shut down everything except some essential cargo hubs, points of entry, so that there's no violation of NAFTA or other agreements like that. Mexico decides that is a dangerous situation economically for them. My guess is they'll decide to reallocate some of the dollars or pesos and start enforcing the border. To me, the border is south, like Guatemala, because that's where they're coming from. They're coming from Guatemala. They're swimming across that river. They're walking across the border. Stop them. Send the National Guard. Send the Army. Whatever you got to do, you stop them in the south. How does this affect someone like me? Well, it doesn't really affect me at all. I live here. You know, I do the same things I would do if this wasn't going on. Maybe after a while, some of the tourist prices that have been gouging us for so long will come down to a more reasonable level if people want to stay alive. Don't get me wrong. I love Mexico. I love Mexicans. I love so much about it. I want them to prosper and be healthy. But the United States doesn't exist for the health of Mexico. And then Mexico doesn't exist for the health of the United States. It's a symbiotic relationship. All right, coming up into the Malecon. Coming down into the Malecon. You know, the trains that are bringing migrants up north come right through Puerto Peñasco. A lot of times you'll see, okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Certainly not a lot of cars, but I don't know.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's business? How's business?
Business is going low.
No. You get a lot of business? No business? Nobody's buying anything from you?
No, my friend. You want tacos?
Gracias, no.
Yeah, maybe January is good.
From the locals, you probably still have it, but
Yeah, but close.
the gringos have gone home, right?
Right now it's low. No work.
I'm sorry for that. I'll buy. Not now, I already had breakfast, but look, you know, my... No, not right now, later.
All right, buddy.
Thank you. I hope it turns out.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, there you go. Still had a smile on his face. Something about Mexicans, man. They're a cheerful people in spite of bad times. Buenos días. Here's a shrimp boat. A couple shrimp boats. Oh yeah. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Now, the shrimping season, if memory serves me, is any month that ends with R. December. So it'll be September, October, December. All right, good. I hope they're exporting. A lot of these places wouldn't open up till later anyway. Always be closing. ABC. Do you remember the movie Glengarry Glen Ross? The Cadillac or steak knives. Always be closing. One thing about Mexicans, they are always closing a deal with you. Well, some people find it annoying. I just take it in stride. Gracias, no. Good way to go. Doesn't offend anybody. They get told no 100 times a day. Only takes a good yes to turn things around. Oh yeah, great day. Empty, empty, empty. Borracho, alegre. Happy drunk. All right, here we go. Uphill, uphill. Go, go, go. Go. No American plates. So anyway, this doesn't really affect me. I don't go out drinking. I don't go out eating. Once in a blue moon, not often. All the cargo that comes to the stores here, Sam's Club, will come, what are they? Will come anyway, because they're shooting in from the west and the east. If you ever go up to Sonoyta, you're going to see the semi-tractors. They're coming in from, what is that, 2, 8? What are they at? And they're, they got warehouses all over the place where they'll drop it off, and people will make their order for their little bodegas. They'll have whatever we need. I do a lot of my shopping at Sam's Club. Superlay will have warehouses. Oh, that feels good. So your thoughts, if anybody has any, does Lukeville really serve a bigger purpose other than to facilitate Americans coming from the United States to Puerto Peñasco, a little pueblo? And if that's the case, why not just shut it down and reallocate the manpower to some other stations? You know, they closed Sasabe down. The entire town of Sasabe, Mexico, was taken over by the cartel. 2 of them fought it out, and that 2,500 inhabitants of Sasabe evacuated at the last minute. Border Patrol, on humanitarian grounds, allowed some of the Mexican citizens to evacuate north of the border. I guess there would be a just cause for asylum. Eagle Pass, Texas, they're swimming across the Rio Grande. They tried to put up some floating barriers, but the federal government told them, told the state of Texas, they had to get those out of there. Arizona, Governor Ducey put in a bunch of those containers, cargo containers along the border. The federal government sued and told him he had to get them out of there because that's federal property. Maybe that would have worked, because right now they're cutting through that fence. It's playing whack-a-mole. You fix one, they'll go through another, and another, and another, and another. Stop it at the southern border. Woo. The heart rate's doing good. Here's a little Christmas thing. The municipal building. What I was going to say to you is, sometimes when we're going to and fro. We got to cross the railroad tracks, and there will be people in pretty desperate straits standing at those tracks begging for food. They've got nothing but a Mexican blanket rolled up, tied with a rope, slung over their shoulder. They're dirty. They haven't had decent food, water, sanitary items for a long time. One of the impressive things about Mexico is that you will find many Mexicans will stop and give these people money, food. I've always said, those with the least give the most. Now, if you got a bunch of hungry people with no resources, what do you think the crime is going to be like? You know, take the American factor out of it. Crime against Mexicans. You know, that train track is not far away. At 4:30 in the morning, I can hear it. I can hear the trains go by. Not loudly, but if I'm awake, I can hear it. If they start turning away immigrants at the border, well, the largest, they're going to be in Sonoita for sure, and they're going to be in Puerto Peñasco for sure. And I have found that people that don't have means have to resort to doing crimes, burglaries, home invasions, all kinds of stuff. So again, this is a Mexican problem. All right, the bank has no Americans. Whoa. Maybe that's